Yes. So like you got the most two important words with this video is hard work and talent, right? Hard work is just straight longevity when it comes to athleticism. When you actually put in the work, I mean, we all know the saying, it's not hard work if it's not hard work, right? And I'm sure a lot of athletes can relate to this. A lot of athletes can relate to this. Like millions of athletes can relate to this. Watching this video, you can relate to that saying all the time, right? But as far as being like a rookie and just being introduced to the sport that I love, which is track and field, which is running and so forth and so on. But over time, when you start to um, perfect your craft and just become like a sprinter and be able to just cover just a several amount of miles and just to cover like an X amount of miles that you want to do throughout the day, which is good. But over time, there's always somebody that's there's always somebody that's just being able to. I mean, as far as like in the athleticism world, a lot of people work hard. A lot of people there's a lot of people work in different times of the day. So just far as just being like an athlete, right? Like just know that there's someone out there in the world, and this is just my thought process as far as like as an athlete, right? There's somebody out there in the world that's the same age as you, doing the same sport as you at a different time zone. Let me say that again. There is somebody out there that's the same age as you that loves what you do and they're doing it as well at a different time zone. Psychologically, that's telling me that's just like, yo, I'm asleep, but somebody is out there in the world. Same, there's somebody out there in the world, daytime, on the other side of the world, doing the same thing that you love to do. Because, I mean, come on now, you got Asians, you got Africans, you got Europeans, you got all types of people that love the sport that you do. I don't know what sport that you do. I mean, it could be fucking cheerleading, it can be chess, it can be shooting, it can be breakdancing. Breakdancing is not a sport, but the thing is, like, breakdancing is worldwide. So there's people out there that are doing what you love to do worldwide. So while you're asleep, they're practicing, trying to perfect and be better than the people out there. You know what I mean? So it could be you. They're trying to be the best of the best. So as far as like over time, that's what I thought of. I always thought of like, yo, I'm asleep right now, but they're training. They're doing what I love to do. So psychologically, there's times I have ran 1, 2 in the morning only because I just had that edge to where it's just like, yo, I don't think I'm done. I don't think I'm done. I don't think I ran enough. I don't think I trained hard enough. So there's times where I have worked out, slept, eat, wake up at like 2 a.m. and ran. That's what I do. I do stuff like that only because it becomes a mental thing. So that's where hard work beats talent because usually people who are talented, they kind of accept it and it's just kind of just cool. It's just kind of cool. And the reason why I learned the hard way is only because when I ran track and field, weights was weights were very important. Weights were a very important key component as far as just to build muscle and to cover ground and be able to lift and cover all the muscles you're able to cover, right? For instance, right, when you're lift, that's all hamstring and calf muscles, right? All hamstring, calves, Achilles, all that. Lift, 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 right? So depending on the event that you do, it's just straight lift. Like for example, like the 200, right? Like running the 200 is just straight lift on the last straightaway. You know, it's little stuff like that. You know, I don't want to divulge into that sport though. But later on down the road, we can go ahead and divulge into that though. But you know, that's a sport I do. I do like boxing too. You know, I can talk about that all day. I do like boxing too. But as far as like the muscle work, you know, I just thought that, you know, as a rookie, and being that that's my only primary sport, that's what I like to do. You know, I was dealing with, you know, I was running with football athletes. I was running with track, and then I think some soccer players ran track too. You know, I was just doing that, and you know, I just really specialized in that sport. You know, so playing football now, you have to build muscle, gain muscle. You know, because I was running with running backs, I was running with halfbacks, I was running with wide receivers. I was running with cornerbacks, you know. A lot of them were, they lift weights and were able to build muscle. And that's when I had to humble real fast and had to realize that, okay, well, I was talented. I was able to have that top speed, but I just didn't like to lift weights. You know, I did have like a strength and conditioning class, but at the same time, I was just like, I don't need this. You know, I was just able to, scientifically, I was able to just go ahead and cover as far as, okay, running drive phase, keep your head down for like 40 meters, have that top speed, boom, you know. But I learned the hard way as far as having travel track and stuff and so forth and so on, right? Only because that's just like my primary sport. You know, I can hoop too. I mean, I'm a little bucket. I can shoot around. You know what I mean? I can do a layup, but primarily that was my sport, was track and field. So, with that being said, that's just what I love to do, and just having hard work and talent. You know, I just learned the hard way. So eventually, over time, when I was able to get a scholarship and really have a routine as far as, okay, working out at 5 a.m., eating breakfast at a certain time, going to class at a certain time, it was new to me. It was new to me. And I was just like, damn, this is really what you got to do in order to reach to the next level? Yes. And that's where it's hard work. You know, that's where it's like, okay, well, you know, when it comes to talent, it's just like, okay, well, I can go ahead and do what I need to do, and I can just kick back and just like relax, you know, only because like that's where you're covering, well, not covering, that's a bad word, but that's where just like, okay, mentally, just like, man, I got this. But there's somebody out there, when you kicking your feet up, there's somebody out there that's really working hard and having that determination to get to the next level, to really get to the next level. That's where hard work will always be talent. I look at Mayweather. Like Mayweather clearly said that, like psychologically, he said that when he's asleep, he always think that someone's working harder than him, which is real. Mayweather said that, he said there's times where I really couldn't sleep because I think my opponent psychologically psychologically